Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, I am James, otherwise known as me, otherwise known as the main star of the channel. Actually, the only star, because no one else has actually made an appearance on this video. Not intentionally anyway. But, as you can tell by the title, I'm not here about to talk about that. I'm here to talk about social media and the power it has over me. Because you don't realise this, but many of us, and it could be you, it might not, I'm not going to pass judgment, and because at the end of the day, whether you are yourself addicted to something is up to you, not me or anyone else. Only you truly know your state of mind. But I personally am here to tell you that I am addicted. I'm addicted to social media. It's not as bad as other people's addictions, but it's there. It exists. And it does. And it has made a big impact on my life. Nice little hat box. That is definitely a hat box. I bought one like that once thinking I could put a cake in it. And last summer, the cake went mouldy. So, it turned the box a bit mouldy as well. So, don't think I'll be doing that again. Shame me, because it was a nice box, but I had to go. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes. Social media addiction. How do I know I'm addicted? Well, it's quite simple really. Whenever I have a spare few minutes to kill, and this happens in everybody's life, I find myself automatically getting my phone out, putting on the Wi-Fi or the mobile data if I'm outside, and flicking onto the old social network. I'm not going to name it because we can probably guess which one it is, and there's many of them out there. I don't really wish to endorse or not endorse, if you know what I mean. I'm neither approving of them or disapproving of them because I use them enough, so I can't really say I don't approve, because that would make me a hypocrite of precautions, you know. Now, as I was saying before World decided to interrupt me, incredibly selfish of the World to just, you know, have people turn up, something like that. But still, anyway, before I get too distracted like I usually do, I know I'm addicted to social media because if I get a spare few minutes, and everyone does in times, I always find myself getting my phone out and opening up the old social media website and seeing stuff that's going on. I mean, admittedly, I don't really do the political stuff online anymore because that's just too damn depressing. Sometimes I used to read stories and it'll be like, why can't all these people of this persuasion just die, or why can't we just kill everyone in this particular country and have it and be done with it all that sort of thing, you know? Or why can't these people who need help just disappear and die? And eventually it got too much for me, so I stopped following the politics online, which is a good thing. I would personally recommend you do that myself, personally. I mean, if you do follow pages like that, just unfollow them. Of course, it's not a good thing to stick your head in the sand and just ignore everything that's happening in the world, but on social media you do meet the worst of the worst. You do end up sometimes thinking those horrible people make up the bulk of society. And they don't, but the majority of people out there are good, kind-hearted individuals. And that is a hill I will die on, okay? Majority of people out there are good, decent people. It's just that the horrible ones tend to be louder. And they've got this great little habit of making it appear like they actually make up more numbers than what they actually do. So next time you're reading something negative, try to remember that those people, chances are, just a small minority of the world. And there's a good chance that they only say it on social media because there's no consequences to it. It's easy, it's anonymous to put your opinion out there, and you can easily ruin someone's day, which a lot of people do take glee in doing. If you are one of those people, then seriously, sort yourself out, mate. Now, As I was saying, I am addicted to social media because I find myself looking at it every time. And I remember before social media was a thing, it was mobile games and things like that. Before, when I had a few minutes, it was like some crappy mobile game. This was back in the days when you used to get 2 or 3 free ones on your phone and there'd be no ads. Whereas nowadays, you do a little bit and it's like, you've got to sit through this 30-second ad. Of course, I'm aging myself. I'm betraying myself here by revealing my age when I say that. But the point is, whenever I had a bit of time spare, I would instantly go to my phone. And at the moment, social media has taken up that mantle. And the more I think about it, the more sad I realise it actually is. I mean, what did people do in the olden days? When they had 5 minutes to kill, did they just sit there and let their minds ruminate on things? I'd love to know, actually, if you're older than me, and bear in mind, if you were born, say, before me, I was born in 84, what did you do to kill those spare few minutes before phones became a thing? Did you just let your mind torture you? Because when I look back, before phones and I had to do that thing, it was mostly me trying to occupy my mind, and I always found that hard. I find it even harder now. And I found that mostly my mind would just come up with negative scenarios to torment myself with. It's like there's 2 people, like those old episodes of Simpsons, where Homer would have those conversations with his brain, and you realise his brain was a completely different person inside of him. Often felt like that. Actually, it still does feel like that. And the difference is, this brain version of me just kind of takes glee in torturing me sometimes. And I wish it wouldn't. And that is how I became addicted to phones, games, or in this case, social media, as I'm talking about. It's that desire to distract yourself from reality. Granted, there are some great things about social media. Because YouTube is a form of social media, and it's led to me meeting some nice people on here. And there is one person who I do occasionally have regular talks with. Well, you know who you are. We occasionally swap messages as well. You know who you are. And that is a benefit of social media. And of course there are negatives in that it has taken away my ability, what little ability I had, to occupy my mind. Because nowadays I have no real ability to do that at all. You don't realise this sometimes until you're stuck in a situation where you can't really do much. Really, it's no different really than how I use my headphones when I walk out on my own, or I may listen to something when I'm driving in my car to say, dealing with my mind. It's no different really. It's just like when I'm walking, I often rely on headphones to keep my mind clear. But I ain't getting better at that lately. I've been out today, as you can probably guess, since I'm not home, and I only had my headphones on for about 45 minutes at the beginning when I was listening to a podcast. When that episode ended, I realised I had nothing else on my phone because it's a new phone. I haven't got around to downloading stuff yet. I kind of decided to occupy myself by talking about something which I was going to talk about later tonight, but I ended up doing it earlier. That's the, in case you're wondering, I haven't figured it out yet, that is the one where I say brush your teeth. One where I talk about personal hygiene and looking after yourself. I'm going to cross down here where I can get a better view of the road, because this is just asking for a flipping accent. Okay. I am looking both ways, but you won't be able to see it on the phone. Okay. I am now across the road. The important thing when crossing the road is to look both ways. Even if it is a one-way street, you might just get a car that's going the wrong way down a one-way street. You know? It does happen. Because I remember I said to my dad once, even though it's your right of way, you're not going to get up to heaven and they're not going to give you a second chance just because it was technically your right of way, you know? I mean, imagine getting up to heaven, you're there, and the person who does it, depending on what religion you are, of course, imagine they turn around and said, well, actually, that car accident was not your fault because it was your right of way, so therefore, well, you get to go down and have another chance. Life will not do that. You're going to be up there whether you deserve it or not, or even if the law is on your side. So always remember to look both ways, if it is a one-way street, because you never know what could happen. Now, as I was saying, I've always had trouble occupying my mind, and social media has in the last 10 years really. I mean, I've been on social media for about 20 odd years, but it's only really in the last 10 years that smartphones have become a mainstream thing and social media apps have become almost the default for everyone to have. Not that social media is, I mean, social media is like, well, it's a double-edged, as I said before, there's good and bad things. You can meet some nice people on social media, but you can also meet some horrible people. I mean, it's a great way to keep in touch with people. As I said, you know, there is someone on here I occasionally message and we have little back and forths, which is nice. Hopefully in the future there'll be more of you to do that with. But, as I said, it is essentially an addiction. An addiction that can take over your life, and it has sort of taken over my life when I think about it. Because as much as I say I am getting better, in many ways I am, I'm still got a very, very long way to go. And this addiction, although will admit, I don't go crazy when I don't get access to social media. It's not like, say, alcohol addiction or drug addiction where you kind of get withdrawal because you don't, but it's one of those things where you got a spare moment and you just go to it. As I've always said, you know, it's like today when I was in Worthing, I popped into a fast food chain, I won't name it, and I treated myself to an ice cream treat. I won't say which one because I don't want to advertise, but it was fairly busy today because, as you can tell, it's a nice day and it's really warm out, and it was really busy and there was a fair wait. And as soon as I made my order and realised I had to wait, first thing I did was I got my phone out and I went into the social media site, the main one, and while I was doing that I realised I had an addiction, and this is something worth talking about. Social media, I've said this, I've talked about social media before because I've said, you know, it's filled with lies and liars, and it is. People pretending they have a much better life than they actually do. Oh good lord, have you seen those fuel prices? This is the price you pay for World War III, people. World War III. It's depressing, that is. But still, as I was saying, I told you about social media and how it can cause detriment to your lives, and it can. And I have often spoken about how you shouldn't listen to the lies and the influencers who pretend they have the perfect life when really they don't. Which, actually, thinking about it, gives me an idea for another video, which I'm not going to talk about today. Now, to go back, as I was saying, see, I'm addicted because I have no powers of concentration. Well, I never really did much, and the ability to occupy my mind is worse than it ever has been, and it does sort of make me worry since I'm only 41. I mean, is this how dementia starts? I mean, when you realise you just constantly rely on things that occupy your mind. I mean, it could partially be that. I don't know. But I'm addicted. I will admit this now, and I've got to make an effort to do less. And I will be talking about it in the future about how I'm doing anything else. But if, like me, you just stop and think for a moment next time before you go on that social media, do you really need to do it? Is there something on the particular that you are looking out for? Or are you simply killing 5 minutes because you don't want to sit there with your brain and let that ruminate on you? And I'm being so serious here, people. Totally serious. Just have a think next time you want to get on social media. Do you really need to? Now, I'm not going to suggest that anyone out there is actually addicted. It's not for me to say. Deep down, you know the truth of how you are with these things. But if you do think you are, just stop and think for a moment. Like I'm going to do, or I have been doing while I've been talking about this. And even let me know in the comments what you think. Because I'd love to know your perspectives on this. I really would. And, well, that's it really, unfortunately, people. This is the last you're going to hear about this for today anyway. As I said, there will be future videos where I do talk about this again. So I will be keeping an eye on my social media addiction. And I will be reporting on how I'm trying to do better. Actually, if you have ideas on how I can do better myself, let me know. Love to hear it. Love to hear your suggestions. Things that you do to keep your mind occupied. I really would. Because at the end of the day, life's easier when you do things together. And yes, that is me recycling. Wasn't my intention to show that as it was, but it's just how it turned out. But not a bad thing. You should recycle when you can. I know technically there are big evil corporations filling the oceans with so much rubbish, and that little bottle is not going to make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. But you know what? It's always important to do your bit. Actually, I should make this a future video. All about just doing your bit, you know, because yes, that one thing won't make a difference. It's like how they say you shouldn't vote because it makes no difference. You should vote. There was an election in my country recently for a council seat, and the party that won supposedly won by 2 votes, and that's 2, you know. It makes you wonder how many undecideds who actually did go out there could have turned the tables. I mean, that is supposedly what affected the last US election as well. Apparently the undecided, or the unconvinced I should say, and there was a lot of unconvinced from what I saw, that apparently made the most difference of all. Apparently it could have gone a different direction. Whether the world would be slightly different now, I don't know. I'm not really a political YouTuber, but it's worth thinking about, people, you know, doing your bit. Because overall it could make a difference. You never know, you might even inspire someone else. And I don't know about you, but knowing I'm doing my little bit for the world, even though it wouldn't make a difference if I stopped, helps me sleep slightly better at night. You know? Do you understand what I'm getting on at here, people? I know I said I was going to make a separate video, and I will do one day. Maybe in a few weeks I'll do another one where I actually talk about doing your bit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to finish this now, because this is definitely a better future video where I talk about this all in one bit. You know, instead of starting one thing and then going on to another, which I usually do. And there are some people who say, Jim, sort your mind out. Normal people don't do this. And I say, you're probably right, I should. But I have no idea how at the moment. No idea how. But you know what? It's a good excuse for me to show off this park. This is Brooklands Park. I actually love it. This bit here used to be a golf course, a pitch and putt. Not like regulation size or anything, but it's just a small golf course. A lot of people miss the golf course, although really no one used it, which is why it's not here now, but I think this is better. I love what they've done here. I really do. Actually, you know what? Let's walk up here. I'm not going to go yet. I'm going to show you a little bit. Just this little bit. Then we're going to finish this video. I should actually do a proper tour of Brooklands one day. And show you the whole thing. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm just going to climb up here. And show you this a little bit before I go. Because I can. And I'm kind of, you know, in one of those talking moods. So I don't really want to stop, but I should stop. Because this video is getting ridiculously long now. I mean, really long. Okay. This is it. This is actually where it ends properly. And I know what you're saying, James. You say this all the time. You say you're going to finish a video, but then you go on and talk about something else where you get distracted. And yes, I have gone distracted today. But you know what? This is it. And you know how I know this is it? And you should know too, because if you have a look at the bottom, you notice we're coming precariously close to the end running time. So, I'm going to leave you with this view of nature. And hopefully, I'll be able to use something like this as a thumbnail maybe. Depends really on the YouTube algorithm. Because once I upload a video, YouTube will take 3 separate stills from the video and present it to me as a choice for which one to use for the thumbnail. Of course I could actually make my own thumbnails, but this is easier. Right, so I'm about to leave you, so I just want to say I love each and single one of you. I hope you're all taking dang good care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time. Bye.